Okay, Shalom, Beruchim Abayim to the new and revised Shiur and of Olam Hamidot. We're going to add, Be'ezrat Hashem, a segment of Halacha at the end. B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach. We're going to continue in the next Midah. We were finished last time with Midah of Kavod, how important it is for us to give Kavod to ourselves, to give Kavod to our children, to give kavod to others and students, and basically everyone, and how important it is, kavod, because it gives life. The person that receives kavod, you're giving them life. And on the other end, when we don't give kavod, we are sort of taking away life. So that was, Baruch Hashem, we spent a lot of time in that, which was amazing, and we had to skip one part, which was not for ladies. This segment is about the world of jealousy. This is definitely not for ladies, that's for sure, but we'll anyway learn it. So, first things first, Chachamim teach us in Pirkei Avot, Hakin'a v'hata'ava v'hakavod motzi'in et ha'adam min ha'olam. Kin'a is jealousy. Ta'ava is desire. Kavod is honor. Right? A person who seeks these three things, he is looking for kin'ah, looking for ta'ava, looking for kavod. These things take a person out of the world. There's many different commentaries on this. Tiferet Israel, one of the major commentaries on Mishnah, he says, Sheze kai al shene olamot. This Mishnah is talking about two worlds, Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. That means a person that is chasing after these three behaviors, he will be taken out of this world and Olam Haba. Olam Haba, we understand. That's very easy to understand, explains the Tiferet Israel, because jealousy causes a person to commit many sins. He will steal, he will say Lashon Hara, and etc. And Chas v'Shalom, he could lose his Olam Haba because of this kin'ah, because of this jealousy. What about Olam Hazeh? It says his life will be filled with pain of jealousy. Not only that, because he is jealous, he will never be happy with anything that he has. He will never see happiness. Shlomo HaMelech tells us in Sefer Mishlei, famous pasuk, Verekev atzamot kin'ah. Rekev means rotting, right? That means a person's bones will rot. He is alive. He's alive. But his bones will rot inside. Why? Because jealousy eats a person on the inside. The person rots on the inside. Shlomo HaMelech tells us this. And Chazal tell us that whoever has jealousy in his heart, his bones rot. Whoever doesn't have jealousy in his heart, his bones won't rot. That Gemara in Masechet Shabbat is talking about even after death. That a person after death, he'll somehow, miraculously, his bones will be still healthy. Okay. That seems to be a big beracha, that he will remain, his skeleton will remain. Kin'ah is a lot more common than we think. Jealousy, we think, I'm not jealous. Everyone thinks that they're not jealous, but we'll be surprised that it's so much more common than we think. Shlomo HaMelech teaches us in Sefer Kohelet. Previously we quoted from Sefer Mishlei. Sefer Kohelet is about Shlomo HaMelech telling us, Hevel havalim amar Kohelet hakol havel. Everything is empty. Everything is meaningless in this world. And he continues in the fourth chapter, he says, V'ra'iti ani et kol ha'amal ve'et kol kisharon ha'ma'aseh ki hi kin'at ish mere'ehu gam ze hevel urot haruach. Says Shlomo HaMelech, I saw, right? He's the king. He's seen, Shlomo HaMelech, he's seen everything. He says, I see the whole labor. That means all of the toil, all the hard work that a person goes and tries. And I see Kishron HaMa'aseh, Kishon HaMaaseh means skillful enterprise. That's how we could translate it. That means a person really has skill, tries to have the best skill at what he does. And he says all of that is kinat ish mere'ehu, stems from jealousy that a person has to one another. That means that is the root, that is the cause of a person trying and making, doing all the, having success. The root of it is jealousy. Clothing, houses, cars, everyone wants to be at least as good as the next person. Right? Imagine if you were the only person in the whole world, the Toyota Camry will be fine. Right? But no, how can I? My neighbor has this. How can I? Everyone wants to be at least as good as the next person, if not better. He says that's very true. He brings an interesting example. It's more applicable in the East Coast. Rabbi Kesterman is in Connecticut. And he says, like, you know how it is in the East Coast, everyone in New York especially, they go to bungalow colonies. Bungalow colonies are in upstate New York, and they have little bungalows. Everyone moves to for the duration of the summer. Okay. Bungalows are not very classy. Bungalows are they're just bungalows, right? And everyone likes to go, right? Even though it's missing a lot of amenities that we have at home, a lot of good things that we have, but it's missing. But no, you know what, they'll go. Not only will they go, they will pay a lot of money for it as well. Why is that? Because everybody is in the bungalow, and all the bungalows are alike. So everyone goes. But imagine if they have real houses there and only one bungalow, right? And he's stuck in that bungalow. You know how angry he would be? Like, what is this? Why can't I be in a house? But wait a minute, you were just in a bungalow. You were living, everybody else was living in the bungalow. You were fine. But now because everybody else is in a house, you wanted to be in a house. Just imagine you're in the city and you have a bungalow. Everybody else lives in their apartments, houses, everything, but you're in the bungalow. Like, of course it's going to hurt him, right? So that's what Shlomo HaMelech is telling us. He says everything about this stems from this root of jealousy. He says whatever we think in our mind that we need stems from jealousy, right? Because what happens if I don't achieve it, if I don't get that which I'm missing, I feel less than the next person, right? He says, imagine if a person could just not think, not compare himself to anyone else. That would be the way to uproot jealousy from his heart. And you know what kind of a simcha the person would have? What kind of a joy he would have in his heart? What a happy life they would have, right? He will be happy with everything that they have. And through this, he'll achieve the biggest wealth possible. Chachamim tell us, Eizehu Ashir, Chachamim. They teach us, they dictate to us, who is the wealthy person? Hasameach bechelko, he's happy in his lot, happy with everything that he has. That's a person who is happy. That's a person who is wealthy. He's going to give us another metaphor, another example to show how empty jealousy is. He says, imagine, a very, very wealthy person comes to this little town. It has 50 Jewish families living there. And he says, I will give everyone in this town a house as a gift. I'm going to give a gift to everyone, a house. Hello. Right? But, sorry, I only have 49 houses to give away, which are very elegant, very fancy. One house is very nice, it's a beautiful house. It's not as fancy as all the other 49 houses. Okay? Could you imagine how that one person will feel when the lot is thrown and Reuven gets this house, Shimon gets that? This poor soul, he got the less fancier house for free. He's getting it for free. Could you imagine how he's gonna fall? Feel, this is cheap house I got. Why am I so unlucky? Like, this is how we are. You know, he would have rather that this guy would never ever come. He'll just live in his trailer for the rest of his life than to be less than everybody else in this town. This is how we are. And this is an example that the Orchot Tzadikim actually brings down in the Midah of Kin'ah. He says there is two people. One is a chomed, one is a kanai. That's how he depicts them. Chomed is a person that he wants everything. He wants to have this, he wants to have this, he wants to have everything. That's a chomed. Who is a kanai? He's jealous. He's jealous that of everybody else. So these two, they come to the king, and the king says, I have something. One of you guys ask me for anything, and I'll give it to you. But I'll give the other one double. So there's a fight. This guy says, no, b'chavod, you go first. And the other one says, no, you go first. So they're like fighting, like, no, please. Why? Because they want to get the double. Each one wants to get the double. And after a lot of back and forth, why? Because the jealous guy couldn't take it. What? He's going to get double? No, I'm not going to. And the chomed, the one, he wants more and more and more. So it wasn't going to work. So at the end, they decide that the jealous person should go first. And what did he ask for? He asked the king to poke out one of his eyes. This way, they will poke out both of the eyes of the other person, the chomed, the one that desires, that wants everything. Right? This way, that's the best thing. Could you imagine? This is how the Orchot Tzadikim depicts jealousy. This is what jealousy is. Jealousy, he's hurt. It bothers him that the other person has. Can't take it. That's a jealous person. So, we're going back to what is jealousy, right? What is the feeling of jealousy? Let's define jealousy. Jealousy is the pain and the anger that a person has because he has less than the other person. Whatever it is. When a person is pained and is angry, right, that he has less than the other fellow, whatever it is, that is jealousy. Now, this type of jealousy, you could divide it up to two different categories. There is a category which is physical, category in the physical things, and there is the other category which is in spiritual categories. Let's talk about the physical category first. If one person has more wealth than another person, okay, he has whatever he has. He has a house, and this one has an apartment. Okay, whatever it is. So now he is jealous of the other person because of what he has. So when you come down to it, you try to put it in logic, it's a big mistake. Because, okay, fine. What is your goal in life? What do you want to have in life? You want to be wealthy? And you're not happy that you're not wealthy? You're not happy with what Hashem gave you? Fine, understandable. That's very painful that a person is bothered. But why are you sad? Why are you upset that he has? Fine, you're not happy with Hashem. Hashem, I don't like you. I don't like what you did. I don't like your judgment. Okay, Chazak Baruch. But what did the other guy do? What did the other person do? He didn't do anything to you. Right? Are you going to be happy if the other person loses everything they have? Are you going to be happy if the other person will be a total ani, a beggar? Is that going to make you happy? So, if he could be happy with what... So that's on the one end. If he is happy with what Hashem gave him, he understands. Baruch Hashem, Hashem gave me. Perfect. So why does it bother you that the other person is wealthy? What are you missing? Right? What are you missing that because of that, you're not happy that he has? Because if you're happy with what Hashem gave you, so that's being a low life, that you only want all the good. You're happy with what Hashem gave you, but you only want the happiness for yourself. So you're not happy, right, that the other person has. So either way, jealousy has no room, right? The fact that you're upset, the fact that you're sad that the other person has, doesn't make sense. If the other person is going to be poor, you're going to be happy? If the other person, if nobody else has, you're going to be happy? It doesn't make sense. Right? This is what we need to remember, that either way you go, right? Jealousy has no room. Jealousy has no place. I keep saying right. So jealousy has no place. If he's not happy with what he has, okay, what can you do? He's not happy. But why are you upset? Why are you sad for the fact that the other person is successful? And if, Baruch Hashem, you have, and you are happy, so why does it bother you that he has more than you? So he says, this is a fundamental mistake that the jealous person has. The fact that he's comparing himself with the other fellow. There is no competition here. And when a person remembers this time and again, he reviews this concept time and again, he's not going to fall in the trap of jealousy. Kin'ah eats a person up. It just eats a person up. Through and through. Literally, through and through, it eats a person up. There's another point in kin'ah, in jealousy, very important. That as deep as you go, right, we will understand that jealousy is not a logical thing. Being jealous logically doesn't make sense. If the person who is jealous will gain as much as the other fellow that he's jealous of, that's it? He's going to be happy? Of course not. Now, he's going to put together, for sure, when you look around town, listen, he's already risen to a higher stature, and he has more money, he's hanging around the different crowd, and in that different crowd, for sure there is others that have more than him. Now he's going to be jealous at that other person. And then what? He's going to be jealous at the other person living in that other town, in the other country, in the other side of the world. So there is no end, right? Why? Because it's not something logical. We're not dealing with logic. It's only dependent on what a person, how a person perceives things. Who does he want to compare himself to? And if he decides, you know what, I'm not going to compare myself to anyone, I'm not going to look at anyone else, or decides, I'm going to look at people that have less than me, then he will never have the midah of kin'ah. He will never have to deal with jealousy. And he says, yes.
But then, if you're looking at people that have less than you, then you think of like, oh, I have more than that, I'm good. You know? Like,
right.
Also not so positive.
Why? He's not going to be jealous. He might have gava. Okay, work on that. He already worked on that. That was the last year, right? He already worked on gava. Now, he's strong enough for gava. That will help him. At least he won't be jealous. He won't have rotten bones. That's for sure. And he says, how much do people burn in jealousy? Because they're always looking at other people's business, right? Looking at other people's welfare, right? They want to know how much money. I'm telling you, it's so interesting. You talk to people, and they know. I don't know. I think they read Forbes magazine every day, all the time. They're reviewing it because they know exactly this guy is worth $52 million. This guy is worth $1.3 billion. They know these things. How? Why? Why do you know these numbers? What do you care about how much money is this guy worth? This guy is in Mexico. He's worth this much, and this guy. They know other people's business. Who cares? Why? What does it do for me, right? To know that the whole world, how much this guy is making, how much, what is the net worth of this person and that person? Who cares? It doesn't matter. All of this, it doesn't matter. All it's going to do, all it's going to cause, is going to cause the person to become more and more jealous. It doesn't do anything. He says you gotta pay attention also that most of the times when it comes to jealousy, in the physical realm we're talking about, a person is jealous of the other person because he's only focusing on one thing that this person has. He doesn't know the whole picture. He doesn't realize what's going on in this person's life. Imagine, he says, this person looks at the other guy, he says, wow, he's got the most beautiful blue eyes. But his face, could use some plastic surgery. But his eyes, wow. So what does he want? He wants to have his eyes, but his own face. He wants to have the other guy's eyes, but his own face. This is the same thing. When a person looks at the beracha that Hashem gave us, we will never fail in the midah of kina'ah. When we are jealous at other people, we have to ask ourselves, do I really want to switch with this guy? Do I really want to live like this person? Even if right now it looks to me that this other person is successful, that's only because I don't really know this person so much. I don't really know what this person goes through day in and day out. Famous Kotzker Rebbe that says if everyone will bring his baggage, that's what they call it. If everyone brings his baggage and puts it on the table, at the end of the day you tell him to choose the baggage, he'll choose his own baggage that he has, because that is exactly, he says, hey, wait, I have it much better than the other fellow. That's how it is. He says more than that. Kin'ah, right? The feeling of kin'ah, chas v'shalom, is a manner of fighting with Hashem. That he's upset at Hashem. Why did you give this fellow this and this and this, and not me? You're not being fair. You're not treating me right, or whatever it is. He's fighting with Hashem. And therefore, a person has to strengthen himself to understand. The Ma'ida Avid Rahmana Letav Avid. Gemara Masachat Brachot. That whatever Hashem does, it is for my good, my benefit. Each person in the world has a mission which is different than the other person. That's why their situation is different than the other person. Each one comes to this world to serve Hashem with what they have and not with what they don't have. That's how it is. With all the berachot that they have and with all the tzarot that they have. All of that put together, they're a gift that they're given to this person. Here you go and serve Hashem. Each person has to recognize that whatever it is that they have, this is their chelek, this is their portion, this is their lot from Hashem. And what the other fellow has, that's their portion, that's their lot that they have from Hashem. And therefore there is no room for jealousy. Okay, so the next segment we could explain, we could go into the jealousy in the spiritual realm. I was hoping to make it tonight, but it's a little bit bigger. Maybe we'll leave that. All right, we'll leave this for next time. So B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach again, because we would like to start this new segment that we added to the end of the Musar class, which is a section about halakha. And I think the vote was for kashrut. It's not gonna be very comprehensive. We're not gonna go into a lot of depth, but we're gonna touch on a few different laws of kashrut, of course. And again, I don't want to cause any trouble as far as shalom bayit issues with kashrut. Like, if your husband has a different pesach halacha, then for sure, this is just going to for educational purposes only, and to understand a little bit more concepts that have to do with basar b'chalav or kashrut. Altogether, it's going to be basar b'chalav, ta'arovet, different things that have to do with the kosher kitchen. So the first thing that we are going to touch on is the halachot of basar b'chalav. Basar b'chalav, as we know, in the Torah, one time in Parashat Mishpatim, one time in Parashat Kitisa, Another time in Parashat Re'eh, right? 3 different places. Twice in Sefer Shemot, once in Sefer Devarim. The Torah writes, Lo tevashel gedi b'chalev imo. Do not cook a gedi. A gedi is a kid, right? Not a child, a kid. That means a child of a goat, right? Do not cook. Bishul is cook. B'chalev imo, in its mother's milk. That's what the Torah writes. So being that this thing is repeated 3 times, our Chachamim ask, why? Why is it repeated 3 times in the Torah? We don't need the Torah to tell me this 3 times. It's got to be teaching us something. And Chachamim know, as Kabbalah, that one is about the prohibition of cooking milk and meat together, even if you're not eating it, even if you're not selling it, just cooking it. There is a nice sizzling burger, and you say, "Oh, a sliced piece of cheese will definitely melt nice and good on this burger." You don't intend on eating it. You don't intend on selling it. You just want to put it on there. Experiment. It's an isur of Torah to do that, to be mevashel, to cook this. And another is the isur of eating basar bechalav, the meat that was cooked in milk, or whatever. And also isur of hana'ah, to having any benefit from this mixture. Benefit from the mixture of milk and meat, that is asur. That's why the Torah repeats this 3 times to give us these 3 prohibitions. Why did the Torah tell us these 3? So they bring it's brought down in Sefarim that first of all, why did the Torah write it lo tevashel gedi b'chalev imo? Say lo tevashel gedi b'chalev imo. Say lo tochal gedi b'chalev imo. And say lo tehene, do not have benefits. Spell it out. Tell me. So Chachamim teach us that the reason that the Torah wrote all 3 in the language of bishul, of cooking, is to tell us that the prohibition of eating and having benefit is only and only if this was cooked together. It went through bishul, right? But without cooking, if it wasn't bishul, let's say you have a piece of beef pastrami and a piece of cheese on top of it. They weren't cooked together, right? And you want to sell it to a goy, that's allowed, right? Even if a person eats that, he's not over on the isur of the Torah of basar b'chalav. Okay, it's okay. Don't be surprised. It's asur from the Chachamim, of course, but the prohibition of eating and and benefiting is only and only if it's cooked. Okay, that's what the Torah writes. Lo tevashel gedi b'chalev. Do not cook. Right? That means it's only when it's cooked. It's asur to cook. It's asur to eat the cooked product, and it's asur to have benefit from the cooked product. But if they're not cooked together, right? Again, nice sandwich, bread. I'm not even talking about turkey pastrami. I'm talking about beef pastrami, right? And the meat, because turkey, the isur of turkey and cheese, that's it itself is midirabanan, right? Turkey, chicken, right? Non-beef, right? So there you go. Don't get me wrong. Don't go out there and then buy this stuff. It's asur midirabanan. We can't, for sure. Don't do this. But let's just be clear. Let's understand all the halachot here that have to do from the Torah, and then we move to what is asur d'Rabbanan. So from the Torah, it's only and only if it's bishul, if it's cooked, and that cooked product cannot be eaten, that cooked product we cannot have benefit from. Why is it asur to cook it? Right? In other isurim, the Torah says, do not eat some meat which is terefa. Right? What is terefa? Terefa means an animal that after they did shechita on the animal, they opened it up and they see it has a problem. There's a problem with the lung. There is a hole in the brain. Whatever. There are a bunch of different things that could make an animal terefa. That means that this animal could not live had you let it go you wouldn't do shechita on it, you couldn't live for another 12 months. This animal is terefa. These days they call it treif. Treif is a generic name for any animal that's not kosher. Right? There is terefa and there is nevela. What's nevela? Nevela is when they were doing the process of shechita, they made a mistake. They killed the animal. Right? Either they shot it with a bullet, or the knife was pagum. The knife that they used for the shechita wasn't good. So now this poor animal is not kosher. You know why it's not kosher? It's not terefa, it's nevela. Okay. By basar nevela, it doesn't matter whether you cook it or you don't cook it. It's asur. It's asur to eat it. You want to eat it raw, take a bite into the meat, it's asur, it's nevela, it's terefa. Nothing to do with cooking. Here, by basar bechalav, by meat and milk, this is the only place that the Torah went ahead and tells us asur to cook. Why? Why here? Very interesting. One of the reasons, there are commentaries explaining a few different reasons. Other isurim, like terefa, nevela, or ham, right? All of these things, anyway, we stay away from them because the Torah put an isur on this object. Ham is asur, is not one of the animals that's kosher. Camel meat is asur. A rabbit, the Torah says it's asur. All these things, the Torah tells us that it's asur, right? Bugs, all these things, they have an isur on them. It doesn't matter whether you cook it or not cook it, they're asur. But meat, what's wrong with meat? What's wrong with a nice kosher piece of burger? That's mutar. What's wrong with cheese on the pizza? Perfect, it's fine. Cheese itself, milk itself, totally kosher. The meat, totally kosher. The only problem is in halakha there is a special concept. It's called hetera. It's hetera bala. It's something that's absolutely mutar. Meat itself is mutar, is allowed, right? It's not prohibited, and milk itself is prohibited. The Torah comes and tells us something new, a novel idea. The mixture of the two, that's asur. So the Torah is telling us, that maybe the person is not going to be so careful. It's going to say, what's wrong? Meat is kosher. The milk is kosher. There's nothing wrong. So as the person is cooking some meat over here and some milk over here, what's he going to do? He's going to taste a little bit of this. He's going to taste a little bit of this. The rest says, no. Cooking itself, cooking them together, that's asur. Right? I'm not making this up. This is the case of Mishnah, Maran, on the Rambam, he says this. Okay? So he says, because a person is not going to be so careful, the Torah says, Lo tevashel gedi b'chalev imo. There is a isur, there is a prohibition on the cooking themselves. So this isur, this prohibition that we're talking about, as we mentioned before, is only in animal meat. That means lamb, beef, goat, animal meat, right? But deer meat, or chicken, turkey, birds, the isur of cooking them, don't get me wrong, it's asur, but it's midrabanan, it's not from the Torah. Chachamim made a gezerah. They know, but Ruach Kodsham, it's not like, let's see, how are we going to bug these people? Let's come up with something new. Why don't we say that chicken and milk is also asur? The Chas v'Chalila, Chachamim, and Ruach HaKodesh, they understood, there is a certain time in history that this gezerah, midrabanan, is needed, and they implemented these gezerot. It's not like, let's see what we're going to do. It's Chachamim that they tell us that these things are asur. However, right, the things that are asur from the Torah, those are the ones that are prohibited in hana'ah, in benefit, right? Beef and milk that are cooked together, and we said that the Torah already told us that it's prohibited to have hana'ah. What does that mean? That we can't have benefit. You can't sell it. So the guy says, okay, I won't sell it, but you know what? I don't want to waste it. I'll give it to the goy. I'll give it to the goy to eat. Asur. That is hana'ah. You know what you could do with it? You can't even dig a hole in the ground and put it in the hole and bury it. It might become a fertilizer. You have a hana'ah from it. Flush it down. That's what we need to do. Right? You can't give it to the dog. You can't give it to any, to the goyim, right? Because it will be a hana'ah. You're not putting it to waste, right? So therefore, we need to destroy it. We need to destroy it that no one will have any benefit from. Yes.
That's specifically when it's mixed together.
Cooked together.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Right.
So let's say you have something that was made, and then for some reason it's not kosher. Can you give that to a goy?
Is it basar b'chalav?
No.
Yeah, you could give that to
Okay.
them. Right. So that's where we are right now. As far as the halachot, we'll stop here. But we'll continue each time. We'll say some more halachot in the kashrut and go a little understand it a little bit more as we can.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.